How's it going, everybody? It's Grant here, back with another video for you. I know it's been a minute, and I don't really want to speak too much and too long on that, but I just want to say I do apologize for being gone for so long, and that I do intend to upload more frequently. So it's good to be back. It's good to be talking to you guys again. You know, I talk about being out of the loop, right, and being on the path, making the right decisions when confronted with an option that leads you in the right direction versus in the wrong direction. I talk about how to turn dreams into reality and, you know, not overthinking and weaning yourself off of the endless scrolling. I'm sure you guys are all interested in these topics for your own various reasons. And the only thing I can speak of really with honesty is the reason that I'm interested in these topics. And it's because I want to become a stronger, better, more interesting person who does cool things with his life that other people and myself find interesting and worthwhile. I don't want to just be wasting it away on the computer, on the phone, just weathering away, doing nothing, right? I want to pursue things that I really care about and things that I can possibly gain financially and socially from, right? And I love making these videos for you guys, but to be honest, it's really not always just like the most quote-unquote fun thing ever, right? All the time. And maybe it looks like I'm just playing like a video game and I'm running around, I'm talking, but I have to tell you to a degree that this stuff is work, right? I'm working to gain subscribers, I'm working to produce these videos, and I want to get a lot of views. And I'm just trying to be transparent here. You know, I've already beaten Elden Ring. I've put in 300 hours through my first playthrough, and, you know, my time of playing this game for pure leisure has passed. And what I'm doing now is I'm making sure I find like cool spots in the game, go around, and, you know, things that aren't being boring to watch, right? And, you know, I'm capturing footage, and it's not hard, right? But I'm making sure that, you know, if you notice, we're not just wandering around in like a dark cave full of loading screens and all this other crap. I'm making sure to show off cool parts of the game that people think will at least be somewhat pleasant or interesting to watch. And I'm not just speaking off the top of my head, right? I think some people have commented before, like, wow, it's pretty crazy. You can just be randomly playing Elden Ring and talk about all this stuff, right? No, it's not actually that, guys. I've chosen a topic, and I write about it, and I make sure that there's a certain amount of information that gets across. And I'm just being transparent here, because if you want to be successful at something, you have to put in the work, and to a degree, this is work. And I'm not trying to say that to make people have like sympathy for me at all or impress anyone at all, but I'm just simply trying to get the idea across that anything worth doing is going to involve work. And what is work, right? I'm not sure the exact definition, but I do remember from grade school that work is basically exertion. And if there's a boulder that needs to go up a hill, or you know, work that needs to be done, you're going to have these days and you're going to have these moments where it's easier to do, and then there's going to be times where you don't feel like it at all. But that doesn't change the fact that the work must be done. You see, human beings are, in a lot of ways, beasts of burden, right? And many animals, they are beasts of burden. And what that means is that we've almost evolved in a way, or been created, whatever you believe, right? We're designed in a way to have an almost biological expectation to work. There are these animals out there, I forget exactly which ones, pack mules or something, right? That if you don't put some weight on their backs and you make them walk around and carry that weight, they actually grow unhealthier, because their purpose is to carry that weight around, and it feels good in a way. I say this all to say that we must begin to fall in love with our work again, especially if you're a man or a young man, which I know based on my analytics that just about 100% of you are. If you're a girl out there, hey, let me know. I'm curious. I think maybe I have a few. But it's this work we are doing that really matters. You see, this leisure time, this phone time, this porn and weed time, this catching up on the latest gossip time, there's a reason why you don't feel good doing it. And that's because deep down, your soul, your subconscious, whatever you want to call it, it knows it's hollow. We all have this intuition that we've thrown to the wayside for the most part, and we have to get better at deciphering that. And I think if you really ask yourself, you'll see that this intuition is kind of telling you that a lot of these things are simply hollow. And a lot of people are trying to get into this new age of work, I would call it, where you're trying to be creative in some aspect or another. You're trying to get yourself out of that 9-to-5 wall core job, and you're thinking, I should make money online somehow, or I should start selling my art or write or do music or YouTube or stream. But the reason that so many times this is an endeavor that leads to failure is simply because of poor work ethic. And this is a good thing, right? Because it's putting the power back in your hands. But this is why the phones and the endless scrolling, this curse is so detrimental. This constant source of entertainment has killed the work ethic through distraction. And I know you want to play guitar really well, you want to sing and not work at wall core, but what happens is, you pick up the guitar and you try for 10 minutes and it's actually harder than you think. You start to get frustrated. You're not hit the notes, your fingers are hurting or whatever. And you realize it's harder than you think. And then you get this Snapchat notification, you get this or that notification, and then that's that. You're back on the phone. People say they want certain things, but their actions speak differently. I know it's hard, but you need to think of the real successful people who you look up to. And a lot of times these people, they wake up, they get to work, they devote their entire day to being productive. It's wake up, work out perhaps, back to work, get some food, work, and maybe at the end of the day they check their socials or do something like that and they make a few posts. And honestly, once you're at a certain level, this does feed back into your work in a way. And then it's sleep, and then it's wake up and repeat. It's this very strong level of dedication that a lot of people honestly don't have, or they're kidding themselves into thinking they have. And from the outside looking in, it's like, wow, that looks so fun. I wish I could sing for a living. I wish I could talk about X or Y or sell these handmade flip-flops or whatever. And, you see these cool parts, but what all these people doing this have learned is that the work must be their focus. Their mission is their focus. This is why for a lot of people, the 9-to-5 is all they can pull off, and they only dream about doing something else. Because with a 9-to-5, it is structured. You're working for someone else, and as much as people cry and moan about how they hate having a boss or they hate being subservient to someone else, this is actually really, for a lot of people, the only environment they're ever anything remotely productive in. Where if you don't come in at X time, you don't do Y thing, you literally maybe lose your job or you lose your income and you're yelled at by the boss. And as soon as they're off work, it's like, oh, all right, back to the phone, back to social media, back to the consumption. It's like a drug. It's like cigarettes or something, right? Consumption and leisure time has become your god. And you're going to be outcompeted by people who have made their higher purpose the thing that their focus revolves around. It's easy to be productive at work when you finish and there's no boss telling you what to do and the phone is around and there's constant distractions all around you. Well, my friends, that's where the game begins. We must begin to love our work and the pursuit of a higher goal again. We must begin to love life again and all the challenges it's presenting us. When you're writing or you're practicing guitar and it's been a while and you kind of don't feel like it anymore, but you push through and that singular bead of sweat rolls down your neck and you realize you haven't checked your phone for hours now. At this point, that's where we must get back to, my friends. That's where the rubber starts to meet the road. And my friends, it's always hardest at the beginning. You'll always be the most frustrated. But as time goes on, and you see this with so many things. You see it with getting in shape or anything really. As your proficiency at whatever it is you're working on begins to grow, so does your baseline enjoyment of it on average. And while there may be times where it's not as immediately pleasurable as something like junk food or porn or whatever perhaps, you're going to quickly realize that this pursuit of this goal of yours, that it is infinitely more fulfilling than any of this other nonsense. So ask yourself, are you really trying? Figure out the answer and go from there. And that's about it for the video, guys. We got to get back to enjoying our work. Back in the old days, they'd wake up at the crack of dawn before the sun was just even barely peeking out, right? And they would work all day long until it went down. And that's where, you get a little bit of relaxation, you get some bed, you get rest, you get get ready to do it all again. And maybe we don't need to be getting quite to that degree, but I think we need to be getting pretty damn close. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did and you'd like to support me for now, I think the best way to do that would just be to like and subscribe and leave a comment. And another great way to support me, if you're down for it, would be to follow me on X.com, right? I do have a profile over there. I like to chat a little bit, and I'd eventually like to start getting into some more written content, and I think that's just going to be the best way to sort of interact with me on a regular basis if you're interested. It's going to be at Decided Yet Free. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Adios.